That's such a beautiful analogy, and I use it quite a bit where they're the driver in the car, just a passenger helping them on the journey and maybe guiding them not to go this way, but to go that way. And I look at the impact that coaches, like life and wellness coaches, are having. And you're starting to see so much more of them now because everyone has a journey that can help someone else. And coaches, in my experiences, are such a beautiful thing for those listening because they give a voice to the voiceless, right? They're able to help you talk through a situation that maybe you don't have the courage to, maybe a little bit embarrassed to, right? There's sometimes where we will go through something, and you mentioned it earlier on in our conversation when you come from a small town and you're like, I don't want my neighbors to look at me any differently. I don't want to go to the grocery store and have the grocery clerk know that I went through this, right? It does take courage because when you're in a big city, you can get lost in the shuffle. If something's happening to you, it's probably just you, the perpetrator, and maybe a few other people. But small town, everyone knows it. And I look at some of the struggles that I went through, and are there people that knew about my struggles that I wish I didn't? Absolutely. Are there people that I'm still finding the courage to tell? Yes. And I guess I segue into that, Letitia, with you. With everything that you've gone through, is there anyone that you're still hoping that maybe one day you can tell them you went through this and this is how you're turning the pain into a personal triumph?
Truthfully, I think I would like the family member that told me about my parents' divorce. I want the opportunity, I want the courage to tell them how that conversation impacted my life. And I'm not there yet because I'm not convinced it will be received, but definitely. I think I can come a full well, I don't want to be 360. I can come full 180 in relation to that by being able to get that off my chest. And I think, that part of my life would definitely be, you know, as if I'm looking at it from another person's perspective.
Do you have an idea what maybe is preventing you outside of the courage, or do you already have the conversation in your head? You just need to get it out there.
I don't have contact with that family member in this current time. So I think that is that, and having the understanding of their ability to take ownership has probably stopped me. Sometimes you just know based on experience that people won't receive what you're saying very well because of the narratives that they have about themselves and circumstances. So um, I think perhaps I'm not sure that it will be absolutely productive for me in this stage of my life, but it is something that I would love to be able to articulate.
And that's and that I think is a very good point. If you're going to have that type of conversation, you want to make sure that it is productive and at the very least it's received in a way that they're understanding it. Because the last thing you would want is to have that type of conversation of that type of magnitude, and the person is listening to what you're saying, but they don't actually hear you. They don't hear your pain. They don't
Mhm.
hear your struggle. They don't hear the courage it has taken for you to stand up and say, when I was a kid, you had this type of conversation with me, and this is how it impacted me. This is how it impacted me after the conversation. This is how it impacted me 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. And this is how it impacts me to this day, right? You want the person to be able to understand your feelings and what you've gone through, as well as how it inspired you to inspire so many others. And with that said, Letitia, what is next for you in everything that you are doing currently?
Terrain, I have a big picture and I don't mind sharing it with you. Um, my time in a homeless shelter was instrumental. It's a lot of time reflecting, a lot of time claiming my independence, because before that time I had never been alone. And my big picture for my business and for my journey is to be able to open up transitional housing for victims of domestic violence and give them the opportunity to heal, as well as provide them with the means to be completely self-sufficient. So a portion of my business now is helping women build their businesses. And I want to be able to take the things that I'm doing within my business with the life coaching and the business coaching and create a pathway for women who are leaving these abusive relationships and give them the tools that they need to stand on their own, be independent, and take control of their lives. So that's my big picture. And everything that I'm doing from now until that is realized is really focused on getting me there.
Perfect. And I would do one of my dreams, and I don't mind sharing this with everyone, is if I would ever win the lottery, I would do exactly that. I would build housing, like a community for those who are underprivileged. Because for me, I don't know if you see this where you are, but it bothers me to my core to see homelessness, to see people out there living. I used to, and I definitely need to start doing again. I used to serve food to those, I forget the name of it. Those who are coming, like the meals for those who maybe don't have food for that day. They're like the soup kitchen and things like that. And to be in a first world country where riches are everywhere around you, and there's some people who can't even afford to have a meal, truly breaks my heart. So you doing that, I respect that so much. And that's a wonderful goal to have, Leticia.
Thank you. It means a lot to me. It really does.